In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
The views and opinions expressed on Geekfather are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their affiliates, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. This is for the parents and not for the kiddies.
Geekfire!
Can you try one more time? Say Geekfather real loud.
Geekfire way out! I just did it.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's a
What's
new
happening?
episode of the Geekfathers. That's right, I'm Scotty P here with my co-host Kyle Smasher. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Just more time of bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent as we do. Got to have our
Trials and
catchphrase
tribulations,
in there.
yeah.
If you guys haven't noticed yet, since also listening to a fun interview I had with my buddy Chris from the last episode, we've been making the changes are more valid now of changing the show a little bit. Making official co-host, as we said, even before the beginning of the year, we were already talking about it and planning on it.
Yeah.
So we've got that. We've got the new.
It's hard to tell the difference. I mean, you can, if you really look, you can tell the difference, but it just, from afar, It could be my face twice, your face twice.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was just like, wow, that did come out like almost mirror-like.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it, which is funny. But
I think it's the bald and the glasses and the beard.
Well,
the
Holy
Trinity there.
Basically, that's what it comes down to, and it's just, I don't know, ironic or just funny that I have a shaved head again. I messed up my hair, the other day or whatever.
And you didn't even want one. That's the worst part.
You know what?
Shit happens.
For the past year, pandemic time, I've had fun growing out the hair, doing stuff I just haven't done with it in years. And I still may grow some hair back out again. It gives the wife a cheap thrill, She likes a little bit. Well, no, to have a little bit of hair.
Oh, have a little bit.
She actually likes having some hair on there. She's never minded the shaved head, but prefers some type of hair or haircut.
Yeah.
Other than me,
especially
just
if you can grow it. I mean, I look like Jean-Luc Picard if I grow my hair out. And
Well,
at this
you
point,
can
it's
still do
probably
that.
pretty gray that it really will look like that.
Dude, Halloween time this next year. You never know. You could get something good. Could get something real good.
I think there's a Big Bang Theory episode where they dress up as their favorite. They were all next gen characters, next generation Star Trek.
Right.
With Picard.
I know
and
what
Data
you're talking
and all that.
about.
Yeah.
Some of the listeners may not.
For the non Trek nerds. I know there's some super duper Trek nerds that would just look at me and go, "Shut the fuck up." But
right.
Maybe I will. I'd have to find the suit thing. They're
easy to make.
Suit,
there were so many variations by the time all the series, the different shows ended with that timeline. There's a few variations you could probably do. That I think that could be a fun one. Because you have enough headspace, just do a Klingon. And just put a bunch of big old ridges on your forehead and stuff. I mean, hey, take advantage of what you got.
Yeah, I got a big forehead too.
Yeah. Not only am I just giving you ideas, I'm talking about myself. Then bringing it back to the logo.
Round. I have a nice round head, but your head is like round.
Yeah.
Like
mine's more egg.
Is seriously round. Yeah.
Mine's more egg shape, not egg head. Like I don't have the brains. Egg shape. That's it.
I got like a long. People can't see this, but I'm showing him. I got the super long forehead. So when I look from the side, If you look at me from the side, almost look.
You've got the bigger
elongated.
slope. I've got the Cro-Magnon, like very brunt forehead, is what it is.
Yeah, you do. You're like a Viking forehead.
Hey, it's better
What
to
I imagine a Viking forehead
Scottish
would look
kung
like.
fu. I just headbutt everybody.
Yeah. Hey, it's a lot more efficient. And you could probably, you could hold your beer while doing it.
Damn right. Don't drop that beer. But
Hey, and I know in this episode we're gonna go into some things and we're gonna have some laughs. And there is a geek father-y thing that I have been dying to talk about.
all right, let me say this because I know the way this episode is gonna go, and so just to make sure it's put out there, guys, we have the new logo. So go see T Public.
Mm-hmm.
You know the link through the GUIpodcast.com.
Yes.
And of course the new logo is going to be available for all the merch, and I'm coming up with still bouncing some ideas off some more logo ideas and things like that. But again, by the time this episode is done, we're probably not going to worry about the stuff. So just guys, GUIpodcast.com. Check out all the shows. I'm just getting it done right now because we're going to go deep this episode.
Yeah.
Check out all the other shows, guys. I know by the time we're recording this, From the Mouths of Madness just dropped another great episode. GUI Flagship, GUI Nights, all right on time. Yeah, I was about to say Nights just dropped this week. That we're recording. So just to give you a timeline idea of what we're working with, guys. And, of course, Bruce Weekly being great with the precap, telling us about the future of entertainment. So guys, check us out. Check out everybody else. All for your listening pleasure. New logo ready to go. We're officially the Geekfathers now.
That's right.
So we got to remember to add that S because I'm still changing social media stuff. So if anybody notices anything too, where you see it's just not with the S yet, let me know so I can go update all the information. I've been trying to be really good about finding all those little details and social media stuff, pages, and everywhere else. So
yeah, don't hold back on them either, guys.
Oh no! Virtually slap me if you got to. It's fine. I can take it. I'm man enough, if you will. Maybe.
Well, hey,
I don't know.
So now that we
I got my my stupid out of the way.
Idiocracy.
What you got? What's up?
All right, so, and this is completely, so if, Hobbit, Lowdown, Groots, fuck you, Hunter, if any of them listen to this, I'm sure they're going to go, of course. But I have been dying to talk about Superman and Lois, which is sort of a new version of Superman, but he has a family. He's got two twins with Lois. Which
there were some storylines in the comics about times like that happening, wasn't there?
I mean, he's had kids. I don't think he's had twins. Of course, I mean, I could be wrong. There's so many different iterations and storylines and universes. I don't pretend to know them all.
And it's not like CW just pulls from like one storyline from the comics. They pull bits and pieces for all their shows. So.
Sure, just like WandaVision did with like House of M was something they took a lot off. So. Yeah, they take bits and pieces, but this is essentially the show, and it's spoiler alert for anyone who is listening to this and has not seen it yet. I'm going to give some spoilers.
I haven't, but we'll watch it anyways.
Sure? Are you sure? I'll try to hold back. Go
ahead, because we're behind on all the shows, not just the CW DC stuff right now. Yeah. So I'll probably forget about it and as soon as I watch it, I'll be like, ooh, that's what Kyle said. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So go do your thing.
And it's on, so there's different formats to watch it. But essentially, the show starts with, just a very quick, like 30-second gloss over, like, hey, Superman, I dropped here, this happened, then I became, or I dropped here, they got raised by Jonathan, Martha Kent, moved to Metropolis, worked at the Daily Planet, met Lois Lane. Boom. Then it goes to the future, where they've got two teenage sons in high school, or about to start high school. And the Daily Planet is bought by, a Lex Luthor type who's in the comics as well, and buys it and fires Clark. Lois is still there because she's Lois fucking Lane. As far as a reporter goes, Clark was all right, but in the stories, Lois Lane is Pulitzer prize winner and all that. So they get, he gets he gets laid off and he's at home, the next day, and it's in the morning, and he gets a call from the doctor, and you just see him speed off to Smallville, and he, right to the Kent farm, and he runs inside, and his mom's dead. So that's how it starts.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He gets fired from the Daily Planet, and his mom dies. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow.
This is crazy.
So they're going to the dark time, somewhat of a darker mindset almost.
No, it's not quite Zack Snyder dark. It's very human.
Well,
it's not trying to be dark. It's just trying to show that particular character or those set of characters from a different lens, which is, all right, he's Superman, but he damn sure isn't perfect. He's not a great father. I mean, he's a great father. He tries to be, but he's not perfect because he's Superman, right? So he's never home. Just like the normal dad who might have to work too much or work two jobs. Right. And he's trying to balance all that out. And he's got one son who needs, sort of medication for mood stabilizers because they have a social disorder. And then another one's, quarterback of the football team type. And they're both twins. So you have there's that big contrast, and it's really the first episode's so well written and so well done. You think it's a movie. I mean, the special effects and everything are great. But the show, and as a geeky dad, it's like, oh man. So now you get to see. You always saw Jonathan Kent as a father, and for me, not really having one, I kind of looked at that sort of stuff from a moral perspective, from a father's perspective, and it's fun to see that character now playing that Jonathan Kent type character because they move back to Smallville. And they take over the Kent farm.
Yeah.
And of course Morgan Edge, who's the Lex Luthor type, has bought up land in Smallville, and it's just like any small town in the United States.
Those real estate huckster villains from the old days of the comics,
Yeah, and he's made appearances in before, and I'm going to tell you right now, being a Smallville fan, at least the first, and I haven't even, I'm almost done the last episode, is better. It's better than Smallville in just so many ways. You can see where the evolution of things have gone, and a lot of it's a reflection on today. On that more realistic
I was
view
about
of
to
the
say
world.
that the current events are way different. Even though Smallville, I always myself, it's not that old of a show in the grand scheme of things.
No. The last episode aired a month before my daughter was born. I remember that.
She is
2011. 9? Yeah, and she was 2011, and it was May.
Yeah,
she was born June 28th.
Well, that was back when they were still doing regular TV type schedules, especially for what the.
Yeah.
Well, that show was an average of 24 episodes, like a lot of shows were then.
Yeah. That was back before Netflix was what it is.
Barely what it is now. Yeah.
Barely, and they were still sending out DVDs on the.
I was about to say they were still using physical media.
And then you had Redbox had started, so. Redbox was contending. So things were a lot different. When you can get your hands to watch something, you watched it. You didn't waste time or say pause and come back to it a month later. But I digress. It's just the show was so well done. It's done from a perspective of a father, and obviously Clark.
Nice.
The character of Clark in Superman is what he can do, but Clark is who he is. It's kind of always been understood. Unless you're a villain from a Tarantino film, then you think it's the opposite way around.
Right.
So to see it from the lens of that as a father, from a geek perspective, I totally got my geek flag flying.
Nice. Nice.
I was completely enthralled in the first episode. And and if you're a dad, especially if you have kids who might have certain there's challenges, they did it really well and with respect to it, so
good deal.
I urge anyone to go out there and watch it. It's a good family show as well, but it's
most
not
of the
a
CW I've been
show.
That you're like one of the only DC people, especially in the GUI family, like to be a DC fan in general. I will say DC though has, because New 52, I'll just say, ruined any chance of me trying to get back into a lot of the comics. I'll still read certain titles.
Yeah.
What they have done, though, with CW and those shows blows so much out of the water compared to what they've done over the years with the movies and everything. Taking a character, they now have Stargirl as a show, and you want to talk about another one that hits really well about parenting, step parenting, and then adding in some other stuff to the mix. It's really, really good. I cannot wait for season 2, and you're sitting there going, like a B-rated DC character has a way better show than what they've given for a Justice League movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. It's amazing. I watched it with my daughter, and because we were watching Superman and Lois, because it's our show now. Like, me and her, we love, that's just our thing now. So we watch that, and like that and The Flash, really any of those shows. Me and the kid are sitting down, we're watching it, and that episode ended, and then it cycled, and that started playing. And we were just sitting on the couch talking or whatever, and we just kind of caught our eye, and we sat and we watched the whole episode, and I was like, damn. Like,
oh, so you just recently watched Stargirl?
I'm talking like 2 days ago.
Oh, dude, we watched the first season as it happened.
Yeah, no, I just caught it. I mean, I knew it was out, but I just caught it, and I was like, Owen Wilson, what the fuck is going on?
Right? And Amy Smart as the mom?
And, still gorgeous.
Oh, she's still beautiful, but for her to go like...
She did a good job.
She did great, but it's funny to watch her in, what was it, Transporter or Transporter 2? I think she was in both those movies. And then
both were getting banged out on
in the middle of like a racetrack, and then going to this is just hilarious to me. But she does it well. She's pulled it off beautifully. So
yeah, she did a good job. But I will say that she's come a long way from. I shouldn't say the really what I just said. I'll say that having relations within public view.
Remember, it's adult. If you're letting, again, I'll emphasize to anybody, if you're letting your kid listen to this show, we may be talking about parenting, we may be parents, but your kid should not be hearing this.
Fair enough. Yes. Yeah. You should just not do that. No. Don't do that. Really, any of the GUI shows are not built for anybody maybe under the age of 18, I would say, just to be safe.
Just so there's no lawsuit. You are correct, sir. No one under 18 should listen to any of our shows. Yeah. Just for legal purposes.
But fucking Stargirl. I mean, for a show to be as good as that, I was very surprised. It had Flash, it was like Flash level in terms of, the writing was well done. So Superman and Lois too. What I think is happening from my own perspectives, I think they're trying to, I'm hoping that new management will understand the shift and the way things are going. Right. And try to follow that, especially even if you're going to make shows like WandaVision. Although I will say shows like WandaVision, the Marvel shows, Falcon and Winter Soldier, that are those series, limited series, is a lot different, Oh, yeah. Because you're not worried about a next season. You're not worried about, building on this storyline to tell this storyline down the road. You have a clean cut story you want to tell.
Well, yeah. So and the whole thing is they're using them properly to connect to the MCU, right? Which will give us the big blockbuster movie and everything. I've got to go back though, talking about again how smart DC is and can be. I'm probably gonna get shit for saying something like that. Another example though is where they've been smart was Swamp Thing. Mm-hmm. The first season is on CW now. I hope they make a second season. Not only did they do the whole build up properly and build up the characters so awesomely in that, they're bringing in another like very low rated character of Blue Devil. And and you're DC and you're just like, Blue Devil? Who the fuck is that?
Well, I've heard of Blue Devil and I have a DC book. Like, so I know Blue Devil is roughly, but I'm just like, why? Like, who?
He was one of those fun characters. I don't know when he was created, but I know a lot of the stuff I saw in like the 80s, and he's always been in a lot of the big crossover, where they have like just about every character involved in some like, Crisis on Infinite Earths or whatever type stuff in the comics, he usually shows up to help out, does something. But his own storyline is actually pretty boss. And he's just kind of a cool character.
Pitalik or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's another DC, like, why the fuck would you need to, like, I think I've seen different iterations. Smallville did an episode on it, and I was like, it's stupid. Don't do that.
Right. But the way Swamp Thing did it, he would, if they continue with Swamp Thing, he's going to be a great supporting, like, type character for real. Like it's going to be really, really good if they do it right. I think that's another
one I have to catch completely up on. I don't think I got all the way through the first season.
Well, it's on CW now. Because what people had trouble with is that, like, that Titans and a couple others were all on that DC Universe streaming app that failed horribly.
Oh, that crashed and burned super quick.
Yeah, because people were like, we're not paying for this when we've either seen most of it or we still can get access to it just as easily, and we don't trust DC for doing live action.
I will say HBO Max is doing it right.
Yes. Holy
they're doing
shit.
it right, and they're by building their own content, and then that streaming platform, it's like, you know, that's the way to do it, especially with the movies and the way things are with the pandemic, you know.
Yeah.
Bringing these things to you inside your home so you don't have to see them in the movies. And yeah, you still have to pay, but you know what? It's a hell of a lot cheaper than going, if you're paying for 3 tickets or 4 tickets to go see a movie, you may as well be putting a down payment on a car.
Thank you to all that is holy. I did not have to pay for Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so glad we didn't have to pay for it. I think we talked about that on a few episodes ago.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed it for the heart.
Sure.
And I thought there was a lot of really well done things and well written scenes. The Enemy, in my opinion, from a Geekfather perspective, I'm going to tell you right now, not a good one.
Shitty. And I think you said that almost quote unquote, like verbatim the last couple sentences.
Yeah.
I think you said that on the outro episode when we talked about it. Because what else can you say?
No, every hero is defined by their villain.
Right.
And that's just a fact. That's a fact of storytelling in that context. So, you know, I will say, as far as like Superman and Lois, there is a Lex Luthor in it. He's in a different one. He's from a different world, different Earth. Okay. So he's written into that storyline as like kind of the main antagonist for Superman while he's trying to be a good dad. It's really well done. And they also went, like they did with Perry White in Man of Steel, they went a different route in terms of ethnicity.
Okay.
You know, race, which I was like, good. I'm so, you know, I've seen enough fucking the same pale, bald man.
Hey,
like,
leave Michael Rosenbaum out of this.
No. I will not say him or Gene Hackman.
I was about to say two of the best Lex Luthor. And I'll even give Kevin Spacey his. I think he pulled off a great Luthor.
For what he had to work with?
For that piece of shit movie? Fuck yeah, he did.
I personally, it depends on what you like. Michael Rosenbaum, for me, will always be the definitive one. But
Absolutely.
But this is a different type of Lex Luthor. You know, he's got his Lex Luthor suit so he can fight Superman. And
so he actually has like the green and purple.
Right. And he's traveled to this new Earth, you know, to stop Superman from destroying it like he did his old one. But it's not the same Superman. So you have these multiple storylines, and that's a way to do it.
Actually, John, I've got to say, John, I was impressed with John Cryer for Lex Luthor on Supergirl.
Yeah,
I think he did
definitely more Gene Hackman-ish in his delivery. And, you know, I didn't expect any... He was definitely menacing, but he was like that... The Weasley menacing that it's like, you know, that you couldn't get fucking rid of. You couldn't burn him off. Like he just kept, he just wouldn't go away.
Well, the whole connection with him is that he played Lex Luthor's nephew in Superman 4.
Yeah, that's right. Lloyd
or something.
Lloyd.
Yeah,
it was Lloyd. I'm pretty sure it was Lloyd.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So, I mean, he has that connection.
Right.
The Uncle Lex. Like almost like stoner, like West Coast surfer dude, but totally looked really whacked out in whatever he was wearing during that movie. So
was that after he played, what's his name in 16 Candles?
That was way after. Yeah.
Was that way after?
Yeah, because Superman 4 was like late 80s, early 90s even, maybe.
Yeah, that's...
late 80s. I don't think the Donner or whatever Superman. I don't think the Christopher Reeve lasted into the 90s.
No,
So-
he definitely didn't.
Well, yeah,
No,
because I
don't
think he was paralyzed like in the early 90s, so, hey.
94 or something like that. He did Village of the Damned, and then
Yeah.
which
That was
about
90.
the-
That was like 91, 92, I think.
yeah, that was
So-
early on. That was a good movie, actually. I
didn't
remember
mind it.
watching it this Halloween. It wasn't bad. I think it's based on a book, but I've never read the
Well,
book.
there was
so
a.
I'm only so geeky.
There was a movie, a black and white movie, back in like the 50s or 60s.
Oh, that's right.
I
It was a
think.
remake.
But
of the movie.
yeah, it's all based on a book as well. So
Everything's based.
so we've totally gone CW, DC comics to Village of the Damned, thanks to Christopher Reeve.
I do love Christopher Reeve.
That is one hell.
As a-
I mean, I love him too. I thought he was a great actor in general.
And do you know that he was obviously for for his condition in terms of charities, what he did after, and the measure of a man or a person, in my opinion, and in life can be what happens when you fall. What happens after you get back up? Is it's always
Right.
Moving forward, always go forward. And that's what he did. And so he spent his life doing a lot of charity until he passed away. And even to a point where he could move I think he could breathe on his own, and he could move like his finger or something.
Yeah, he definitely got a lot further than what his original diagnosis said.
Well, he just didn't give up.
Right.
He was in that way. He was a Superman. He showed that you didn't have to have superpowers. You just had to have will to keep moving forward. And in this world right now, like cancer, for example, is obviously like a multiplier effect in terms of just shit rolling downhill. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people being affected by that. People close to us or people that we know.
Yeah,
Which
we've had some heavy talks about that recently, just because of you've had a personal impact. I've had not a immediate personal, but it's something that still hurts. Where
especially as a father, as a parent,
right?
Somebody appreciates life, innocence.
Yeah, that's the whole thing that it comes to, is that like friends, family, it's cancer sucks. Fuck cancer, whatever it may be. Anyways,
Dog outside.
She's stepping in on our. That's my kid. Everybody.
I'm sorry, but you put the dog outside. Now she's stuck.
She's stuck outside. Can you get her in?
No.
No. Go. Get
Can I
him.
have a donut? I'll only go if I can have a donut.
Welcome to Geekfathers.
right?
Where all of the children's get in.
And I'm a geek too.
No.
I'm proud.
You're a dork.
You don't talk.
She's a dork. Okay, stop. Come on. No.
Then I leave.
Okay.
I do not
It's not.
leave.
It's to all of our audience out here. Listen, this is the Geek Father life where nobody will let you record.
Mm-mm. There was even an interruption with Chris and I with mine, but I couldn't get a very good sound from it, so I ended up cutting it.
Did you?
Yeah, I would have left it in, but it just didn't mesh well with the mixing. So
And the dog's
Yeah.
here too.
Okay, you can go now, please.
Can I
I'm
have a
not
donut?
done. No,
Half of a donut?
you may not have a donut. You actually have to go brush your teeth because it's about time for bed.
it
so
is
it's 9 o'clock.
bedtime, young lady.
Good times.
Good times,
I should have locked the door.
right? So now that we've done Old Man Tangent on some great things, I encourage everybody to check out CW shows, if not just for good writing, good entertainment for the kids, and all that. However, segue into what you brought up, and that's why we had a feeling.
We're gonna cut all this anyway. So we're
Yeah, well, hey, I'll figure
gonna cut it
out
all out for
something
you
in the
folks.
editing. I somehow I do it. I don't know how, but I
But
figure out.
you know,
something.
it's kind of perfect that she walked in and interrupted. First off, that's what kids do.
Yes.
They have no shame.
Very true.
Or boundaries in that way.
Yeah.
And secondly, we were getting into a serious subject, so which is not going to make anybody necessarily feel good, but there's a lot of hope out there.
There is, and
A lot of people helping.
that's where I'll go in and jump in and kind of, I guess, we each kind of have a story, which is what got us talking this week about everything. Kind kind of opposite perspectives almost, though, which is the funny part about it almost, to where yours involves a parent, mine involves a child.
Right.
But two different things. And what I'll talk about is that if I honestly have any listeners out there that were with me since the beginning, when I was doing basically mini episodes every week and stuff like that, I talked about, or I had an episode that talked about for the kids, a day where a friend's daughter, who at the time was maybe 4 years old, and got cancer. So they went through everything, chemo, the whole rigmarole. I talked about one of the things that they were doing to help raise the money for it, to do some things for her. A few weeks ago, unfortunately, it was found out that it's come back. Even though things had been clear for... We're talking about an 8-year-old girl, and you want to talk about... Let me say the first thing I will... Before anything else, is that this kid has a head on her shoulders and probably one of the most positive attitudes I can ever think of. I mean, there was a joke where it was always said that she was such a happy baby all the time. She's still happy. How she does it, the innocence of youth is all I can chalk it up to at this point. Because for a child,
endless optimism,
right?
Endless optimism. It's an amazing thing. It make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, just because it's like so powerful sometimes to be like,
exactly.
As an adult, I don't even know if I can keep going, but as a child facing something like this, it's like, you just wake up every day as long as you can wake up, and you're just loving it.
Yeah. So. And this is my buddy Mike, who learned a tattoo under my brother-in-law Greg. For anybody who knows them, he tattoos now down in the Virginia Beach area, and it's his daughter Kimber, which they have a Facebook page that they call it's Team Kimber. It was set up when she had it the first time, and I'm glad they're doing it this way. They're being more open about needing help, because one of the big differences is that they have a second daughter as well, who was actually born while they were going through this the first time.
Oh, wow.
So they're trying to do so much with their schedule and different things to make sure not only Kimber has what she needs, because she did chemo last week, and I think she has a couple weeks before she goes in for her next round of chemo. So they, their younger one that they try to spend time with and everything, but they said this time that they're basically going, we're still doing what we can, but we need help. We're being just way more forward about it and saying we need help. So they've set up, there's a GoFundMe, there's I believe it's still available. Kimber has an Amazon wish list, just to help with a few things. And I'll post these links onto the episode when this gets released, guys, because this will definitely be happening as, in comparison to when we're recording now to when I release the episode for us. And this kid is a badass. That is one of the biggest things I can say about this. And I, as a parent, I can only imagine what that has to do to somebody's mentality as an adult.
Yeah, that's... I have friends and people I know of who I've met in my travels through life, and I know at least 2 or 3 that have lost a child, and one specifically to cancer. And I will say that in the face of that, and I'm sure after, immense odds and kind of uphill of emotion and sadness and, emptiness. I know for me as a father, if I ever was not technically a father anymore, I don't think that I don't know that I would feel any reason to keep moving forward. And I tell you, my friend, what she did was eventually she pushed through and started a foundation, which, you know, and we'll provide some details for that a little later. But, you know, I think when people need to be their best, especially parents, they can be.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like that's what they're doing. You know, they're doing everything that they can, and that's all they can do.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I realized I was about to cut you off still. And that's really what it is. Again, I get so lost. I know exactly what to say, but I still get the words lost in a situation like this. Because first off, the rule, any parent, and you can say, you know, I say the quote unquote, it's an unspoken rule. Parents are not supposed to outlive their children, especially in this day and age of science and medicine. That just shouldn't happen, and it does because
natural law.
Yeah, and it kills me because not only has Kimber been strong enough and going through this again, things still haven't been like, it wasn't like she finished her chemo the first time around and just hopped up and was like, I can go now. She's had multiple surgeries on her leg where the cancer has been found.
Mm-hmm.
She's basically had a cast on that same leg for, I'll say, like 5 years now. 4 or 5 years. So for her to be in that situation and to see the positive, that face that she gives, and there are dark days. They're not going to necessarily post on Facebook with the Team Kimber page or anything like that, those dark days. No one wants to see that, and I get it. Because those are also the more private days.
Yeah, those are times for them and them alone.
Right. But when they do post in some of those pictures, fucking adorable. That kid has I'll say a moxie, if you will, like nobody else.
Yeah.
You know, she does it great, and I mean it's amazing what she's doing, and I'm proud of, because there's multiple communities that get involved with this as well, and that's definitely more. Of course, again, because when I think about this stuff, I can never think of it. You have one that I think they're the same people are involved with that your friend helped start as well. Really? But there are multiple organizations that their sole purpose is to help the kids feel quote unquote normal, to have a good day, to, what was it? I believe at one point for Kimber, they did one of the most basic things and just gave her, like, set up a playground in her yard, like a swing set.
Yeah. That's amazing.
You know, and it was one of the best days she's had. I hope I can
love anything as much as they love this playground or balloon or bubbles,
right?
You know, or something that they can imagine with and, you know, escape. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and a lot of people don't realize that there's national organizations, you know, like Make a Wish.
Make a Wish is a good one. And I mentioned before, my mom worked for them, and some of the celebrities are still kind of dicks sometimes.
Well, sure,
but there's still a lot of celebrities, and the people that typically work within the organization, top notch. I've seen a lot of good things that they've done and the way they work it. So,
you know, I got to tell you, it's a just sort of side thought on that. As a celebrity, I don't care how tired I am or how many press junkets I've done, or if I've got to shoot and reshoot a scene or reshoots or whatever. You know, I don't care what the situation is. If I have an opportunity to do something like that for a kid, for someone, you know, that's going through something like that, just to give them 5 minutes of that rush of joy through their body and through their heart.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is show up, because that's how much you mean to somebody to be seen. I mean, if anybody could be a dick about that, don't deserve. I don't care how good they are as an actor or singer, don't deserve where they're at.
No, and that's why a lot of the press, you really don't hear about the bad press when it comes to that.
Right.
Because a lot of those groups are smart to where even if the kid requests one of the assholes, they try to have a backup request available.
Right.
You know, because they don't want to deal with that. Their job shouldn't be harassing somebody to be like, go see this kid that's asking just to say hi to you, but you're not going to have the decency to like, I mean, they've had it documented where some of these people have shown up to a lunch or something and just basically been like, hey, how are you? Took a picture, ate their sandwich, and bolted.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You know, and I agree with you. I mean, that's total
insulting.
like scumbag move, period. I don't care who you are.
It's a reflection of I'm sure too many people out there is that just innate selfishness. You know, this shit's below me, or I've got too many things to do, or I've got a party to get to later. You know, like I said, or even if you're just filming a movie, you're gonna film that fucking movie one way or another.
Yeah.
But this, in a lot of situations, this is this kid's last real thing to take with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get 1,000 more moments, unfortunately, compared to the 10 that they get left.
Exactly.
To really experience. So, you know, yes, I think it's a shitty move.
Yeah.
I don't care if you worked hard your entire life and you put in the work and the elbow grease and you got to where you are. That's awesome. But when you get to a certain point and you have that sort of influence, to throw it away or to shit on it or to think it's less than what you should be doing, fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you.
And the great thing is that there are so many more people out there doing things, you know, whether voluntarily or when they're asked to do, they're like, let's do it. You know, you hear about some of the actors who dress up in their costumes and will go to hospitals just on their own. Not even doing a promotional thing. The only way you find out about it technically is someone like a nurse or somebody snaps a picture and tells the local news about it.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we need out there really doing this stuff. Like, what was it? I know a lot of the Marvel people have done it. Like Chris Pratt. And what was it? One of the big stories was Johnny Depp at one time. Dressed up as Captain Jack.
Yeah, dressed up as Captain Jack.
And he just went to a hospital and stayed in character the whole time. Didn't tell a soul about it. Like, no leak to the news, nothing. Showed up, incognito, got there, and hung out with the kids for a few hours. Stayed in character, and then peaced out and rolled.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that's cool as shit, man.
Yeah, that's all it takes. You just, what you did in those 3 hours before you get on your flight to go back to wherever, or in the car to go to whatever, means the world to someone else.
Right.
And that's a pretty powerful thing. I wish I had half of that or a fraction of that kind of influence. I wish that my job could honestly be to dress up like superheroes and go to, and I know they have people like that. It's not, you know, but it's,
yeah.
I guess in life right now, maybe it's not feasible. I don't know. I'll have to. Well, but it's a pretty amazing thing. You have to work out a lot, you know.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, if that's your normal gig, I'm sure that's part of the working out is part of the process. Shape, sure. Yeah.
I'm sure you got some muscles in there, and I did hear a pretty cool. And this, I will say, this is not specifically an epic dad story, but I'm going to go into it considering how long we've been doing recording.
Yeah.
And just reminding me of a cool story of a guy. I think that they, you know, just like the people who visit hospitals dressed as superheroes, and some people probably work for an organization, some people do it on their own. Yeah. So I remember reading, and this is probably a couple of years ago, but I do remember reading a cool article about like sort of a cool dad moment where he dressed up like Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And the son